Howdy, and welcome to my live presentation. My name is Emily Fallon Jackson. When I was growing up, my mom told me that she was always in love with this name, Emily, and prayed for the day that she could finally call a pink bundle of joy this, or in the case of this slide, a little angel. So after 2 boys, she got her wish. The name Emily comes from a Latin name, Amelia, which means striving, eager, and hardworking. In 1997, when I was born, Emily was the most popular name in the United States, so I grew up knowing a lot of Emilys too. My middle name is Fallon, which comes from my great-grandmother and is from an Irish descent meaning superiority and descendant from a ruler. I don't know who that ruler would be, but I do get asked if I'm related to Jimmy Fallon a lot, so I guess it's kind of like the same thing. And then my last name is Jackson, which is a Scottish name that literally means son of Jack. My first and last names are both pretty common names, but as I've gotten older, I've come to like my middle name a lot more to make it sound more original. My parents, Mark and Jamie, met post-college in San Antonio, Texas. Their story is a classic story of star-crossed love, or in the world of Texas, this means the love between an Aggie and a Longhorn. After getting married, they decided to settle down in San Antonio, where a lot of my mother's family lived. They wanted to be as close to family as possible, so they bought a house on a street between 2 of my mom's brothers and down the street from her parents. My dad was becoming the lone Aggie in a sea of Longhorns. And this is where they would raise their children and live still until today. After getting settled down, my parents had their first child, Colby Patrick Jackson. He was born with a large head, which followed him as he got older and became the brainiac of the family. Colby is 6 years older than me, but I still consider him one of my best friends. He laid the path for us kids of our family, setting the expectations and showing us what to do and what not to do. He took being the guinea pig of our parents with such grace. Colby always knows how to pull off a good surprise, look at the middle picture, and how to meet me where I'm at. As we've gotten older, it's been such a treat getting to dive into more philosophical talks with him and share our faith with one another on a different level. He also graduated from A&M, so he started a good trend for us there too. Then, 3 years later down the line, came my second brother, Benjamin Hanchett Jackson. I'm one of the few people, aka just my mom, that still calls him Benjamin. To most other people, he just goes by Ben. He is a man of many talents. He loves bouldering, rock climbing, water skiing, snow skiing, and the list could go on, but let's just say he really likes being outside. But most of all, he has been a rock in my life. He has been my best friend from day one and definitely took the role of protective older brother very seriously. He taught me how to play sports, how to ride a bike, as you can see, how to dream big, and how to pursue our faith in a radical way. He got to see me go from awkward middle schooler to actually being able to hold conversations and talk about things deeper than what was right in front of me. He was the first person that challenged and called me to a higher standard in everything that I do, and I am forever grateful for that. He also just graduated from A&M in May, so again, keeping a good trend going. Then, on October 3rd of 1997, the trio was finally complete when I was born. Who would have thought 2 redheads and a blonde would make such a good group? I could not have imagined growing up with any 2 other people by my side. The 3 of us all had our own strengths and weaknesses, and we complement each other really well. We looked out for each other, shared some of the sweetest memories, and got to enjoy the sweetness of life side by side. I wouldn't have wanted to have it any other way and share my childhood with anyone else. My childhood wasn't just filled with those 2 redheads, though. As I said before, my parents moved into a house in San Antonio between 2 of my mom's brothers, their families, and my grandparents who lived just down the street. I was the youngest of 16 grandchildren total, but on the street lived a total of 8 of us. I was the only girl among 7 other boys, only being slightly outnumbered. Again, I definitely lived into the role as being baby on the block, and also the princess. While I loved dressing up in costumes, having tea parties, and playing with Polly Pockets just as much as the next girl, I got to learn a lot from growing up around all these boys. I had 7 coaches to teach me how to play sports, how to climb trees, how to brush off a fall here and there, and how to just play with the boys. I learned a lot about growing up there, but not just on how to hang with the boys. I grew up knowing the true importance of family. There was nothing more important to me than our weekly dinners, birthday celebrations, or holidays. I had so many people to learn from. It was truly such a gift. High school was definitely an interesting time of my life, as it was for many people. My freshman year consisted of a lot of embarrassing selfies, as shown here, an excited mindset for what these prime years would consist of, and so many hopes and dreams for my future. My first 2 years of high school, I played on our school's volleyball team and very quickly got burned out. I went on to a big 6A high school, so if volleyball didn't completely consume your life, you were doing it wrong. So after 8 years of playing, 5 of those being playing club, I decided to throw in the towel because I did not have aspirations to play in college like a lot of my friends did. This had opened up a new world of opportunities for me, where I got to join my school's choir, become a part of my PALS program, which also helped lead me to my educational dreams of working with kids, got elected to my school's parliament, or also known as student council, and had so many more chances to take on leadership roles at my church. High school was definitely a special 4 years of my life. As maybe you could tell from my description of high school, I tended to get involved with a lot of things, and that didn't even include the clubs I was in. The learning aspect of school always tended to come a little easier for me than it did for many of my peers, and I truly considered it a gift. I still had to work hard for my studies, but I always tended to get straight A's in my schoolwork. My challenges really resided in becoming overcommitted, which led me to being easily overwhelmed. It took me a while to finally get a handle of this, but I learned a lot about time management. Even in elementary school, trying to balance school, sports, church, I started at a very young age to try to master this talent. It wasn't until my later high school years and even in college that I have begun to really master this skill. When high school was coming to a close and it was time to make my choice on which college I would be attending, it was really quite simple. I had always wanted to be an Aggie. I fell in love with the Aggie traditions at a young age, maybe starting when my dad would wake us up on game days with the Aggie war hymn, blaring it across our house, but also with the culture of community that this institution really embodied and the strong faith support they had. Fun fact, when it came down to it, I only applied to Texas A&M because I knew I was 100% sold on going there. And I was also in the top 3% of my graduating class, so I knew I would have automatic admissions. Ever since getting here, I have only been reaffirmed of this choice. Just in this last year and a half of college, I have been given so many opportunities. I got to start out my freshman year being a part of the Gilbert Leadership Conference, where I got to refine my leadership skills and get to collaborate with some of the most influential people I have encountered in college yet. I also got involved with a sorority on campus, Kappa Alpha Theta, where I have found some of my most deeply rooted friendships. On top of this, I've had the opportunity to go on a mission trip to Nicaragua over spring break and go on mission at a camp over the summer. Both of these opportunities really opened my heart for my call to mission and everything that I do. These are just a few of the many opportunities I have had and the ways I have grown in just a short amount of time. I can't even imagine for what is in store for the rest of college. Now, all of these opportunities are amazing, but I did come to A&M for something even bigger. Ever since the second grade, I have wanted to enter the field of education. Through the eyes of an 8-year-old, my perception of the world was just starting to form, and my mind was yearning for new knowledge. My second grade teacher, Mrs. Kathy Moore, was the one who compelled me to pursue a career in elementary education. Every day I was in her classroom, she created an environment that made me desire to learn and showed me how much one person could have an impact on my life. This was the year I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to work hands-on with students, to grow with them in their developmental years in education, and challenge them in their journey. In my future, I want to create a home in the classroom for anyone that walks through my doors. Now, my time in the classroom hasn't just been limited to my time as a student in the classroom. I have also been able to spend a lot of time hanging in my mom's first grade classroom, being able to read to her kids, work on centers with them, and just be able to have more of an experience in a teacher role. Last year, I also had the opportunity to be a reading tutor for a first grade class. I got to work on tangible goals with these students and get to celebrate the many successes with them. I also had the opportunity to shadow a 5th grade classroom last year. I was able to lead small group discussions, do little tutoring groups, and various other things. While College Station has been great, I would really love to end up back in San Antonio to be with my family. But if all else fails, Texas is really where I want to end up and be able to teach for the rest of my life. After I graduate from A&M, I hope to possibly go to grad school to get a degree in speech and language pathology. This desire of mine started when two of my twin cousins were born premature, and when they were just a few months old, they were found to have strong hearing loss issues. They have been working with speech and language pathologists since they were just a few months old, and now that they're 3, they have been able to talk and really use their words in ways that they couldn't have before. I would love to give the students an opportunity to use their voice in ways that they maybe couldn't before, and this is why I would like to go to grad school. While school is all fine and dandy, I do like to do things outside of it. I love spoken word poetry and going to poetry slams on the weekends. I love going and finding chapels in the middle of nowhere with my friends. I love watching sunsets and seeing the bright sun go to nothing in the matter of a few minutes. I love indoor picnics with my friends and just being able to spend quality time with them. I love sharing a cup of tea and being able to share stories and moments with friends that I maybe wouldn't before. And I also love going to concerts. That is probably one of my favorite pastimes. Now, why did I really want to pursue being a teacher? I believe every child deserves a chance at their future, and there needs to be someone there to advocate for them, and I would like to do that for them as their teacher. I believe there is so much to teach a child outside of school-mandated curriculum, like manners and the ways to interact with others. I believe that setting small goals and a constant pursuit to strive towards them is the key to success, and I think setting that up in a classroom is key for a child's learning. One theory of learning that I really agree with is Jerome Bruner's and his discovering of learning. This is the behavior that can be learned through the observation of others. I think working, especially with elementary school students, that observation of others and working with kids in the classroom is definitely a way that kids can learn and develop their skills. I think this also helps students draw from past experience and existing knowledge to discover facts and relationships about new truths that they discover. All in all, what I want to do with my life is to spend my time with kids. Whether that be in a classroom or working with children in a speech pathology setting, I just want to work with kids to be able to strive towards goals and to be able to celebrate the little successes in life. But we'll see what that looks like 5 years from now, but I can't see what's to come.